Hey, Terrence, how are you?
Pretty good. How you doing, Erica?
I'm well, thank you.
Uh, uh,
Hey everybody, just wanted to drop in just to see how stuff was going. I know I ain't been here for a minute. Um
what's up, Isaiah?
what's up, Terrence? Hey Erica. Hey Abraham. Um
Hey,
Anyway, this one thing we have. Okay. I'm had to talk to the class, try to figure out why people aren't showing up. Um yeah, just Ibrahim here. Was it like this the last? I didn't look at the video. Was there anyone that showed up last time? Another one last week?
Yeah, we had a few people last week, and we were doing some Cold War problems, um, and just kind of breaking those down.
Cool. Um, yeah, just wanted to pop in and say what's up. So I think I don't know if I even gave directions for this one. Let me just double check. There's so much stuff going on. Um, hmm, general. I think this one, I guess y'all can just do another code words problem. And since y'all doing that, Ibrahim, you don't have to, I don't know if you already turned one in, but if you do it here, it's fine. You don't have to turn one in. And that's just because, just for like this week. Because there's nobody else here. So yeah. Um, I'm just going through the messages and Slack. Okay. All right. Um, cool. I mean, it's a light group, honestly. Like, I don't want y'all to have to have to only have to have one student here. It's really up to y'all if y'all want to go through it this week. This week is not like as important, but I mean, if y'all want to practice code words problems, y'all can. It's up to y'all. Like, whatever y'all decide is up to y'all. But I'm gonna head out. If y'all need me for anything, let me know. And yeah,
All right.
I'll see y'all.
Cool. Yeah, what I'll do is I'll just I'll do one for the sake of the recording, and when you upload the recording, at least I'll see me walking through at least one of them, maybe two.
Okay, yeah, that's probably a good idea. Okay, cool. I'll see you. See you.
All right, see.
Terrence, I'm gonna let you lead. I'm in the background working on a cloud project, but if you need me, I'm right here.
Okay, no problem. Appreciate it. I'm gonna go on mute
So
for a
how's it
second.
going to be now?
Go ahead, say that again, Bo.
Is that, I said, what are we doing now?
So we're still doing Code Wars. So if you have one, I know you have to do one anyway. If you wanted to present, you could do that. I could demonstrate one, however you want to do it.
Yes, okay. Let me check. Let me check in first.
Yeah.
I think I have one here.
Okay. Yeah. Feel free to share your screen if you want to. We could begin working it out.
All right. You see my screen.
Oh, yep. Okay.
All right. This is, it says create a function that will return a string. The first argument given, if it is longer than the requested maximum string length, and the second argument given, result should also end with dot dot dot.
Right.
So this dot at the end also add to the string length. So for example, we have this creating kata is 14 should return creating car. Oh. So if the string is smaller or equal than the maximum string length, then simply return the string with no trimming or dots required. Okay. String code was is critical 15. Should return code was 14. Okay. Okay, I think okay, trim.
Yep.
So let me copy the code. I'm sorry, I'm going to use the DOM. I think.
Okay.
All right.
No problem.
So the function takes in two arguments. So if this one is smaller, I'll equal to down the maximum. So okay. So it's if so can you if str.length, right?
Got length. Yep. You can get the length property.
Or do we have to convert it to array first, as in to
Nope.
string?
You can still grab the length property from a string, so you don't have to
Yeah.
convert it to an array.
Okay. Or can I just leave it like I should use dot length?
Yep. Dot length. Yep.
Yeah,
You get
greater
the length
than
property.
size. think so.
Yep.
Am I on the way?
Yeah, you're on the right track.
So if greater than, for example, to him this greater than 14 should return creating car. Huh? Okay. What? The swing is not equal than swing. I'm kind of confused here. So we should return. What do you think we should do here?
Okay, so for me, my thought process on this is we would want to, based on the length of the string and the size given, if it's greater than the length, so if the argument is 14 in that case, or whatever the size is, then we should return up to 14 characters. So like if we go, basically, if we could you know what, let me share my screen if you don't mind. That way I can
Okay.
kind of work it out on Visual Studio Code. It's a little bit easier for me. Let me go like this. I'll get set up. Let me just give me 1 second. I'll get set up here. Okay. Cut that out. And start a new line. And I do have that. Funny enough, actually, I do have that same one pulled up already. So let me go ahead and get ready to share here. Okay. Let me do this. Share screen. Okay. And you can see my screen, right?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. So first thing I did was just pull it over in VS Code in this case. And then second, usually Isaiah recommends that we convert these into arrow functions. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now as well, just out of habit, just out of practice. So I'll go ahead and do that. And then, like you said, let me pull up the problem again. So if the length of the string is greater than the size, then return up until the length along with 3 dots. So for example, if we look at this one here, kind of curious to how many characters this is so I can understand the question a little better. So for example, if I paste in those characters and highlight them, that tells me, let me close this really quick. It tells me that there's 11 characters. So what that means is that those 3 dots that we add, those also count towards the size. So we technically would also have to remove the size, the number of characters minus 3, and then replace it with the dots. So I'll kind of show you what I mean here. So first thought is, let's do a if statement. So definitely on the right track. So the string dot length is greater than size, then we can reduce the size. In fact, what I want to do is probably start off with a variable since we'll probably be reusing it. So I'll start off with a variable that already trims the size down. So let's see if we do, let's do this. Let's do I'll just call it short because it'll be shortened or short string str equal. And now we got to think about how do we take a string and remove characters from a string. For that, we could use the slice method. So let's look at that. We could, and we can just remove characters from the end of the string. So we'll do, in fact, let me pull that up here. just to get the right syntax. Okay, so it's still kind of running into, I'm running into the problem I ran into last week a little bit, where whenever I'm sharing my screen, it goes really slow. So let me stop sharing for just a second here. And then I'll come back and make sure I present it all together. All right, so I have the slice method here. Let me share again, just so you can kind of see it all together. Share. All right, so I grabbed the slice method. Slice method takes two parameters. The start, where do you want to start trimming your string, and the number of characters that you want to trim. So for me, I'm going to kind of just do some tests here to make sure that this is working. So what I want to do to kind of test this out is I want to take, before I even write my if statement, I just want to make sure I can do this right. So as a test, what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim the string. So I'm going to return, in fact, I'll take this out for right now as well. So I'm going to take the string and I'm going to trim it, or slice it rather, using the slice method. And since we're starting from the, well, let's see. Let's try it this way. We'll do, we can start from the end. So in order to start from the end, we can grab the string dot
from
length.
0.
Well, if you start from 0, that'll remove the characters from the beginning of the string. And in this case, we're looking to remove the characters from the end of the string.
Okay.
So in order to grab, the last character, we can just grab the length, right? So grab the length, and for this particular test, I'm just going to remove 3 characters from the end, just as a test. I'm going to make sure this is working right. This is my process. So I'm going to log into the console. And then I'll go ahead and pass in. So I'll do trim. And then I'll pass in a string with, let's see, my string. So now that I passed in one with 3 arguments and I trim, or with 5, technically 6 when you count the space, it should return just my with the space at the end after this test. So we're going to go ahead and open this up in the browser and give it a quick test. All right, to the console. And let's see, log 5, yep, got app.js source, console.log trim, and then trim is returned here.
Or do you have to delete the second argument from the function size?
Shouldn't, even though I'm not using it right now, usually I don't have to. I'll take it out just for test sake. Let me just go ahead and do that real quick. But usually it just ignores it if it's not being used. I did take that out, and it's still giving me nothing on the console side. Okay, so we do console.log. Our function is trim. Then we took the string and we trimmed it starting at the left and then 3 characters over. So I'll go ahead and turn on the debugger, which I believe Isaiah showed you guys as well already. So we'll just see what's going on behind the scenes. So throw the debugger on and just refresh it. And then we'll just kind of step through it, see where we're running into trouble. Okay, so the string is my string. Okay, trim,
Length is 1.
length is 1. Well, that's interesting. Why would the length be 1 if our string is passed in 6 characters in our string, including the space? Okay, let me back up a step then. So I'll go step by step here, and instead, here's what I'll try. Just comment that out and paste it down here. And instead, I'm just going to return the length. See what why is it behaving that way? String.length returned here, and let's see what that does in the console. Yeah, okay, that's what I figured. So we are getting 6 characters, but for some reason, okay, maybe I'm reading that trim method incorrectly. So let's go back. Or slice method, excuse me, incorrectly. Okay, it returns the extracted part of the string and inner string. Slice method does not change the original string. Okay, let's see. Start and acquire. Oh, okay. So this one's a little bit different. So this actually returns what was sliced out, which is still strange because I would figure that, okay. So this actually returns what gets sliced out. And if we do, oh yeah, it's probably gonna run a little slow. Okay. So -1 removes the last character. Okay, so maybe we could do, well, it takes the last character and then returns it. So we're probably gonna have, there's a little bit of a different way, because the slice method is actually taking the string and only giving us what's being cut out. It's not giving us what's being kept. So we could either use a different method. I think we could probably use splice, or we could just change the way we're writing our function. So meaning that we would just cut out what we're actually keeping instead of what we're getting rid of. So with that said, if I come back into code here and I just run so I'll get rid of this. And slice it starting at 0 and take out 3 characters. Let me just test that really quick. And refresh it. Okay. So this kept those 3 characters, including the space, which you can't really see there. So we'll write our string a little bit differently then. With that said, we can write it so that we keep, so in this case, if we want to keep the first 6 characters, then we'll save it and refresh. Then there's our my string, and it's going to keep all the characters. So that said, I think I have a better way of writing it now. What we could do is we can add back our size and then replace that here. So there's our size, just so that we kind of have a better idea. So then in our function call, we'll go ahead and put the size in there. And in this case, I'm just going to put 3 just as a quick test. And that should also return my, because I put a space in there, and it does. So so far that's working the way we expect it to. So with that said, now we can now that we have a way of cutting the string, now we can kind of go back to the original problem, because this is ultimately going to be the solution, is that we got to cut the string. But now we can kind of add in those conditions and slice the string accordingly. Now let me go back to the problem. And the problem is saying basically it should return, if we have 14, it should return 14 up to 14 characters if the string is greater than 14 characters, but 3 of those characters have to be dots. That's what it's saying, right? So really, we would need to take the string that's being inputted, and then subtract 3 from it, and then replace those 3 characters with dots. So let me kind of break that down a little bit here as well. So in my mind, we could do it like this. If we want to take the, so we would want to say this, yep, okay. Actually, I'll put in the problem one here. And here's what I'll do. I'll put in this one here as a test, just to make sure I'm on the right track still. So 3, taking out 14, and then let's go ahead and refresh on our JavaScript screen. And so it's essentially doing what we want it to do, except we do have to also take away, when it's too long, we still have to take away 3 additional characters. So then we would actually want to do, so we would do this, the size plus 3. And then if we refresh, okay, actually -3. Because we want, let's see, yeah, cut out. So that's supposed to be size. Try that. And cut to his. Yep, there we go. So then we would take those 3 and replace it with the 3 dots. So then we can use a template string, but in this case, I'm just going to use a regular string, 3 dots, ... Save. And then if we refresh, we now have what they have on their screen, right? So we have this this string here. So ultimately, this is going to be our solution, but I was working it out to where, you know, how can we cut it and make it look the way they have it? And now we can put this inside of the if statement. Following so far, Bello?
Yeah, sure. I'm with you.
Okay, perfect. So with that said, now that we know what we will be returning based on the condition, let's go ahead and just throw the if statement in there. So then if string.length is greater than size, then we can return. Then we can return this, right? Then really we can just do this. We can, and this would work. It would take the size -3.
But can we initialize the size as 14? Since they say if we if in the range of 14, then should return ...
Well, the 14 is just, since it's put in as an argument, it could be 14, it could be 30, it could be 50. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
So that'll be more dynamic. We could probably create, to make it like a little bit more readable, we could probably create a variable for the size -3. And then, you know, the 3 dots is only going to be used once. So, you know, I guess we could keep that there to simplify it. But I'll go ahead and just make sure the solution works. And then, yeah, if we want to refactor, we could do that. Okay, so then if we go back to the problem, if the size is greater, if the length of the string is greater than the second parameter, which is the size, then return it, you know, with that, and then 3 dots. If the string is smaller or equal to the maximum length, then return the string with no trimming or dots. So then if it's small, if it's less than or equal, so we'll do else, actually we'll do else if string.length is, and we'll flip it and do less than or equal to size. Get rid of that. Also, if string down length is less than or equal to the size of the string, we'll just return the string, right? So we'll just go ahead and return str. And let me format my document here. There we go. So we have the first two conditions. If it's greater, return the size -3, as the 3 of those characters will be replaced with dots. If it's less than or equal to, just return the entire string. And then there is one other condition, and that is if the requested string length is smaller than or equal to 3 characters, then the length of the dots is not added to the length added to the string. Example: trim he1 should return h dot because 1 is less than 3. Okay, so if the requested string length is smaller or equal to 3 characters, then the length of the dots is not added to the string. Okay, so with that, then if they have 2 characters and we're only cutting out 1, then it would then take out the 1 character and then replace it with 3 dots. And that's if it's smaller or equal to 3 characters, okay? And then we have our next else if statement. Else if string dot length is less than or equal to, less than or equal to 3 characters, then we're going to still return the string. Okay, I got it. So we'll return the string that sliced with the 3 dots regardless. So then we don't need the -3 here because we're just returning whatever was cut out plus 3 dots, if I'm understanding correctly. So I think that would meet all of those. Let me get the return keyword in there. I think that would cover all 3 conditions. Let me just clean up the code a little bit, get that out of there. Format document. A little bit. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and give it a quick test to see if this works. Okay, so they have one where there's 1 character, each dot dot. Okay, the requested string length is smaller than or equal to 3, then the length of the dots is not added to the string length. Right, so it should be h dot dot dot. Okay, let me try that again then. Let's go ahead and put one in where we only have 2 characters and we're removing 1 of those characters. So I'll save that and run that in the console. Let's see what it returns. So it's just returning 3 dots. Let me go ahead and oh, okay. I see where I went wrong there. String dot length. Start at 0, keep the size. Oh, actually, let me start a debugger on real quick. So go ahead and step through it. Oh, wait, okay. I think I got it. It didn't even execute this function because the return keyword was already here. This condition was already met because it's string length size is greater than the number of characters being removed. Okay. That's why it did that. So it did return. Actually, no, actually not. That shouldn't have, that still shouldn't have worked. All right, let's try it one more time. Size is 1, string length is 2. String is less than or equal to 3, then return a string. Start at 0, size. Interesting.
Or do we have to put S at the end of the S if statement?
Well, let's see. Right here, you mean? So we don't have
Yes.
to put a default else, unless there was another condition that we wanted to check for, or a default condition, like if you wanted, we could return an empty string if that were the case. But since we have 3 returns here, if none of these worked, then we would just return false. But in this case, the condition is met, but it's not cutting the string the way I expect. Looks like it's taking out the whole string. So what I'll try to do is, here's what I'll do. What I'll try to do is just work just within the string for just a second here. So I'll comment this out for a moment and then rerun it. See where I went wrong. So refresh, go back to the console. Okay, so we got to add an additional condition. The second condition looks like it's being met, which is why it's not even getting to this third one here with the 3 dots. So if we come back here, I think I see what's going on. And then let's uncomment this. Okay. So if string.length is less than or equal to size, and return string. Okay, so then we'll have to do and here, and say that the characters is less than or equal to 3. We have to have both conditions be true, because what was happening was, of course, once you do return, it doesn't execute any other code. So it was getting stopped here because the length of the string, like this condition was being met basically, because the string is 2 characters and it's greater than the size of 1 character, but it's less than 3 characters. So we had to have 2 conditions here. So I think that's what's stopping us. I'm going to save that and retry it. And now it should work. And it's still giving us 3 dots. Size and string dot length is less than or equal to 3.
I think this is a logical thinking. It's indeed a logical thinking here.
Well, one more time, I'm sorry.
So this is a logical work here.
Yeah, definitely. Because it's getting stuck right here on this line, the second line, because it's basically just replacing the characters of the string, or actually it might even be stopping at line 1. Okay, we actually probably have to add that to line 1 as well. Need that. Because we got to catch it, and that's why I was returning the 3 dots, maybe. It's not catching it. Okay. Let me debug one more time here. Let's save this. Go through it. Okay, string is 2 characters, size is 1. If the length, which is 2, is greater than the size, which is 1, so that part of it's technically true, and the length is less than or equal to, oh, okay, we got to flip it, right? Okay, gotcha. This condition should only be true if it's greater than 3 characters. We need to do the opposite. Okay. That way, this one would become not true. This one would not be true. And then this one would be true. I think that'll work. Let me try that one more time. Oh, wait. Let me do that. Save it. And rerun. Okay, now we got our H dot dot dot. Think we're ready to test it in the Code Wars section again. I'll just take this one out. Highlight, copy, and train, and test. Okay, so that worked. Did you follow what I did there at the end with the string length?
Yeah, I follow.
Okay. Yeah, so they have to be greater than 3 characters, which makes sense. So we had to put 2 conditions using the double ampersand. And then for the third condition, we would do 3 or less, and then still add the dots. So let's do an attempt. Oh, we still got some problems here. We passed most tests, but not all. Expected A to equal. Okay, so it's probably because it's the ones that have switch to JX to equal JX. Size of 2, okay. It's the ones that have 3 characters. Looks like that might be failing. Size equal 4, okay. Expected VOH to equal. Maybe it's less
Is
than or equal to
the
3.
test pass.
Say that again.
Or the compiler said the test passed in the first place.
Oh, yeah,
Why
so it
is-
did pass the original test. Yep. And the attempt just gives you more use cases, so we would have to refine the code even more. We got about 15 minutes left, so I don't know if you want to go through that and find out what we could do to make it pass the attempt as well, or if you wanted to look at another Cold War solution or Cold War problem.
Can we check on the unlock solution?
Sure. There you go. Okay, just got a couple of them here.
Did you guys attempt it?
Yeah. So it passed the test, but then it failed the attempt.
Oh,
The attempt
okay.
had some few more test cases. So I'm thinking it's probably because of the one where it's exactly 3 characters. Those were failing in some of the tests. So I probably just had to add an additional condition to catch that. Okay, so this is a simple one. Less than size, return string. If string is less than or equal to 3, return string dot substring size plus dot dot dot. Okay, I didn't think about using the substring. Else basically return substring size minus 3 plus dot. Okay, so that would catch all of them. So this is probably the easiest to read solution just based on where we're at. And let me compare it to mine really quick. Almost the same. So we got a condition for the string out length and size greater than 3. And we have a condition. Great. Okay. So this will be, I guess, the ideal solution or even easier if you're using, the arrow functions. And since you're just returning a value, you could use the arrow functions, and they're using the ternary operator here to do the same thing that this function here is doing. Any questions on the solution, fellow?
No, no question.
Okay.
I will still work on it here for more understanding.
You said one more time. I'm sorry. Can you say that one more time?
I say I'm still going. I will need to go through the code once again here.
Oh, okay. Did you want me to send you their solution here?
You said what?
Do you want me to send you this solution?
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Yeah, that way you could kind of break it down. Yeah, I'll send it. Stop share for a second. I'll send it in the Slack. Went ahead and sent that. Yep. Okay, perfect. So you got it. And got about 10 minutes left. So I don't know if you wanted, if you had any like particular questions on anything in the course, any of the JavaScript stuff in the course specifically, arrays, strings, debugger, console, any of that stuff he went over already in the course for JavaScript.
No, I don't have any question on JavaScript.
Okay, gotcha.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, and we've got about 7 minutes left. So for the just for folks that might rewatch the recording, I'll go ahead and do one more. But I'm going to just do one that I did already do before, just so I can kind of explain it and fly through it quickly. So I'll go ahead and share my screen. So this one also involves just manipulating strings and removing characters. So this one's to remove the first and last character. So we'll create a function that takes a string and removes the first and last character of that string. And so we'll go ahead and do train again. And so I'll go ahead and take this one into Visual Studio Code. And so for my thought process on this one is like an easy way to do it is we can convert this string into an array. And first, well, actually, first, let me just convert this into an arrow function. Okay, so first thing is convert string into an array. We do that using the split method. Again, I already had this. Yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, we can use the split method.
Yep. So we'll use the split method to convert the string into an array. And again, I already solved this one, so I'm just kind of explaining it. So I'm just going to paste in the code piece by piece. So there's our variable, setting it and turning it into an array. And we know with arrays, we have two methods, one to remove the first character and one to remove the last character. And those are the pop and shift methods. Pop method removes the last character, and then the shift method removes the first character from an array. So then I'll go ahead and execute both of those. So we have an array. Now we have access to array methods. So first one is pop, remove the end character, and then shift to remove the first character. And then after we do that, these two methods modify the original string. So all we have to do is actually return the original string, or the array, I should say, and convert it back into a string using join. So we took it, converted it into an array, and then let's add some comments here. Removes last character using pop, and then remove, add it as a comment, remove first character using shift. And then after we did that, we can turn it back into a string using the join method. So started off with an array so we can get access to the array methods, pop and shift. So we did that, pop to remove the last character, shift to remove the first character. Then we returned it as a string again by using the join method. So a simple way to kind of solve this one here. And I will go ahead and paste this in and give it a test. And so that passed the test because it met the conditions. But a simple way to kind of solve it using very little code. And I'll kind of stop there since there's only a few minutes left. But an easy way to utilize the pop and shift methods on a Code Wars problem, because I know there are a few videos on that in the Isaiah's course. So any questions on that quick solution there, fellow?
No.
Okay.
I think this one is even more simpler.
Yeah, this one was simpler. So, and then that one, the one that we're doing was a 7. So next week, if we want to fly through more, we can just start off with just 8s, right? This was an 8Q, and the higher the number, the easiest. This is the easier ones, right? So we can always start with these to get get some momentum going and do a few of them at a time. And then as we get more understanding, we can move on to the more advanced ones, which will take more time.
Okay.
Okay, cool. With that, I'll stop sharing. And yeah, we can pretty much end it here if there's no other questions.
All right. Thank you.
Yep, no problem. Have a good week. All right, Erica, I'll see you next week.
All right.
Good night, you
All right.
guys.
Good night.
Night.